All right. I have stayed away from this debate. I have stayed away from this question. I have stayed away from discussions involving this matter in the fitness industry and the health and wellness industry because it's just one, it's people that I may know that are utilizing, these new drugs that are out, new systems of weight loss. And I got my personal opinion on it all. But I will say this. I will say that with anything that you try, with anything that you use, of course, consult, professional, physician. But be mindful that everything that's good has a downfall, a side effect, and that's something that we all need to always remember. Even supplements, certain supplements, you overdo them, or it mixes with the wrong body, type, or you got a certain thing going on with the digestive system, it can cause different things. Even simple things like protein powder. Certain protein powders mess with different people's digestive system. A lot of it has to do with components that are in it that people may not, their digestive system just may not like. But when it comes to the boom of the GLP drugs, I will say, because someone just posed this question to me in the gym, and he actually asked me to do a video about it. And I will say this: trainers, and athletes, and professionals, we've always said that there's not a magic pill. There's not a magic pill. There's not a magic drug. But these days and times, we're lying if we tell people that. We're lying if we tell people that. We are quick to say, you'll have professionals that sit on podcasts and say, there's no magic pill for weight loss. There's no magic pill to make you look. And that's a lie, because there is a magic pill. Modern medicine and Western medicine, or medicine in general, has made a magic pill and a magic shot, and it's a big misconception anyway, because even in the athletic arena, there's been pills and shots, PEDs, aka steroids. It's been around, so there's always been a quote unquote a magic pill or a magic shot or something like that does something different for the body, and that causes horrendous side effects. It doesn't take nothing but a Google search to find out how many people have died from the usage of those things. And with those things, this is each his own. It's your choice. Me personally, I've always stayed away from anything that you can grab at a vitamin shop or Pride Nutrition, or GNC or something like that. So the thing is this, and I was explaining this to this brother and his wife, is that for years, trainers, or even, physicians even have tried to suggest things to help people with their joints, to help people with their, the weight management, to help people, tone up, to help, and there's always been, people have always been leery about supplementation, leery. But out of the blue, in a series of years, 1 year it's a shot. The next year it's a pill. The next year it's another shot. And they're shooting these things out just like rampant to everybody and suggesting commercials. And the same people that may have been leery about supplementation are quick to take something that's just unknown, that causes things like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, abdominal pain. You're running the risk of pancreatic cancers and gallbladder issues and kidney issues and just so many things that come with it. And like I said in the beginning of this, supplements have some of those same side effects, but you very rarely hear supplements being discontinued. You very rarely hear of supplements being recalled unless it was just a bad batch somewhere. And supplements have been around for, I'm in my 40s. I started competing in my 20s, and I knew guys that was taking supplements back then, fish oils and, CoQ10s and, and things of that nature before I even started getting into that. So it's like these things have been around for decades, but people will jump and take the first thing that modern medicine put out and then not follow the program. So following the program, I mean, to minimize things like those side effects, you have to do the very thing that you're taking the thing to not to do. If you're taking those things, you're looking for the lazy way out. And you have to apply fitness, just like you have to with supplementation. You have to apply exercise. They tell you that. You have to watch your food. They tell you that. Same thing you would have to do if you just went to the gym and exercised, and eventually if you took supplements, if you needed them or you desired to take them, the same thing you're doing with the mystery magic pill or shot, you would have to do anyway. So why risk your life with the mystery pill and the mystery shots? Because no matter what they tell you, I mean, they can tell you anything. They told a lot of us what they were putting in our arm meant something, and it turned out now we're finding out all these things. So got to be leery. And we got to, I don't know why we're so eager to trust the people that lie to us and who have contaminated things and poisoned our food, and they all in the cahoots together. But we're quick to take something that they put out first. But, GNC, Google how long GNC was been around in existence. Google how long Vitamin Shop been around. And look at their sales. Look at their revenue. Look at, so common sense is very common when it comes to the fact that, it's like all this stuff has been around, and the same thing that they tell you when you're taking these GLPs, go low and slow, lower your dose, increase slowly, recommended by doctor, dietary changes, avoid high fat, greasy or spicy foods, eat smaller and more frequent meals. You've been hearing that from people, trainers in fitness industry since the 80s and the 70s. Hydration, drink plenty of water, avoid dehydration, particularly if you're experiencing diarrhea. Listen to fullness cues. Stop eating when you feel full to reduce nausea. It's the same thing. But the thing is this. When it comes to supplementation in the industry, in the fitness industry, everybody knows, we're putting the workout first. We're putting the grueling part first. And then, if needed, later, you can apply that, depending on age, depending on things, depending on a lot of things. This thing comes and puts just do this first, and then you could do a little bit, but notice when they do give you these things, they have to, by law, in their oath, tell you that, yeah, you should exercise. Yeah, you should do this. Yeah, you should do that. But they already know that if you're considering taking this or you have taken it already, you're looking for the easy way out. Because, granted, man, you could do it. Now, I will say this. There are people, due to lack of activity, living a sedentary life, due to their environment, due to things of that nature. I'm not making any excuses, but they've let themselves go. They've allowed themselves to go too far. And these things are needed because they're at an extreme, so you may need an extreme. Some people have let themselves go to the point where they can hardly walk. So it's going to be hard to tell you to get up and move and do this and do that. So to jumpstart the goal of getting healthier, these things may You need it. And that's a real health issue because you're running the risk of heart things and this thing and that thing and blood pressure and this and that, diabetes, all these things. So the fight there, I don't argue with. The fight there, I don't argue with. But yet and still have to remember, you got there due to your lack. You know, what we consume and our lack of activity doesn't walk up to our door, knock on the door and say, hey, eat me, I'm here. You know, it's like either way, we either order it, get it sent to us, we go to it, whatever have you, we do whatever it takes to supply our downfall. So when it comes to this conversation, I'll say to each his own, to each his own. But you still got to put that work in at the gym.